Can we start, doctor, with the introduction?
Yeah, if you feel the time is there, we can start. Maybe I think another 4 minutes now.
Actually, now, can we wait for another 2 minutes, better?
Yeah, I think so. I think after 3 minutes, sharp 7:15, we will start.
Okay, doctor. Sure.
আমরা 6 মাস দুজনের একান্ত থাকি।
I think, doctor, we can start. Is it okay?
Papia Puha Landas. Papia Puha.
Sir, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, it's okay. So, doctor, is it okay? Can we start? Doctor, can you please unmute? Doctor, can you please unmute your mic? Doctor, can we start? Doctor,
Yeah,
can we start?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Good evening. Welcome you all. On behalf of Lights of Kindness, we would like to welcome you all once again and to inaugurate this special session, which is conducting by Dr. P.V. Cherian. We would like to invite our sister Vaishnavi Menon to give an introduction about Lights of Kindness and our respected guest of this evening, Dr. P.V. Cherian. Thank you so much.
Good evening.
Assalamu alaikum. Kind greetings to all. Lights of Kindness Social Assistance Drive is an initiative founded by a few generous brothers and sisters to help and support those who are in need. We officially launched our activities from 1st of March 2020 as a community support drive to provide aid from the hardships of COVID-19. Our initiatives include distributing dry ration, snacks and fruits, water, bus traveling free go cards, hats, and safety materials to low income workers. Furthermore, we organize COVID 19 awareness sessions, which are taken by internationally known field experts. Our initiative is an active participant in blood donation camps and provides much needed medical assistance to those in need as well. We nurture our community by conducting youth development, talent programs, and awareness sessions. By virtually organizing free spoken English classes for low income workers, answering queries, and guiding workers traveling back to countries, we continue to grow and extend our hand for all those needy ones. A hearty welcome to join us and contribute for this noble cause. Now, I would like to introduce our guest speaker of this evening, Dr. Churian. From 1979 to 2012, Dr. Churian served as the Chief Medical Officer in the Department of Accident and Emergency of Salmania Medical Complex, Kingdom of Bahrain. He has been playing a pivotal role in the medical team to His Royal Highness Prime Minister from 2012 to present. He currently holds many positions of responsibility, from being the administrative board member of Bahrain Medical Society for 4 years, president of Cancer Care Group 7 years, patron of Blood Donors Kerala Bahrain chapter. He too is the chairman of Coordination Committee of Indian Associations under aegis of Embassy of India for 6 years. On behalf of Lights of Kindness and all of us, I invite Dr. Churian to deliver his valuable presentation. Kindly note to be on mute while he is presenting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vaishnavi, for your wonderful presentation. Doctor,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
can you carry on? Yes. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you. Good evening, dear brothers, sisters, and children. Actually, I am proud and privileged to participate in this active interactive session under the leadership of my dear friend, Mr. Said Hanif Ali, and the Lights of Kindness, as told by Vaishnavi Menon in the introductory session. A lot of kind activities has been carried out. It is a community service for the needy people. They have been doing a wonderful job since the start of COVID, from the beginning of 1st of March this year. And even this educative session, which will be beneficial for a lot of people, because as we are aware, this knowledge is power. Once we know what are the complications, what are the causative factors, what are the reasons for this disease, we will be able to prevent the disease. And that is the intention of these sessions, where we will interact each other. This is not actually a speak by me actually. I welcome all of you to participate. Let us discuss each other, find our queries, and we will proceed.
Doctor, actually your photo is off. Can you please open your camera, please?
My video.
Yeah. It's okay, Doctor. Now, yeah.
So, as I told you, we will start the session, and at the end of the session, can have question answer, or in between you want me to stop and answer the questions, I am prepared to do that also. We have divided this topic today. Actually, this is a recent topic. Everywhere we are talking about the COVID-19. We are divided into two sessions: the past of COVID-19, the present of COVID-19, and what are the aftermaths of the COVID-19 when this pandemic ends like that. These are the three topics we have divided. So just to summarize, because I know that most of you are aware with the past of the COVID-19. It has been talking, we have been talking for all the past almost an year. And it is almost the anniversary of the COVID-19 when it started in the province of Wuhan, China. So this December, by the end of this December, we are having almost a year of COVID. We have been discussing, we have been talking, the World Health Organization has been kind enough to give us more information. All the countries have been kind enough. So we know most of this one, but just I will go briefly through the past, and then we will come to the scenario of COVID. So as I told you, in December 2019, the COVID originated from the Wuhan province in China. This outbreak was declared as a public health emergency of international concern in January of this year. Then it was declared as a pandemic by the World Health Organization 2020. This virus, as we are aware, it is a respiratory virus belonging to the influenza group. The SARS, the two viruses which came before, like SARS or severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, and MERS, the Middle East respiratory syndrome virus, all belonging to this influenza group. And the full name of this virus is SARS-CoV-2. It's a severe acute respiratory syndrome virus, coronavirus 2. And the name of the disease, coronavirus, the corona, which means a crown. And that is why the name was lately changed, because of the shape of the virus only, with having so many specks on its head body like that. It was called corona, but later it was changed to COVID or coronavirus disease. In short, COVID-19. The ecological reservoir, which is believed to be starting from bats, and later it came to the intermediate animals, and finally to our human beings. Later it spread all over the world. Being a respiratory virus, it is very easy to spread. And the main symptoms are fever, which occurs in around 88% of the patients who get affected with the COVID virus, with chills, muscle aches and body pains in around 15% of the patients, dry cough in around 65%, shortness of breath 19%, fatigue or tiredness in 38%, sore throat in 15%, headache, running nose, and in some people there will be new loss of taste and smell. Then other gastrointestinal symptoms like nausea or feeling like vomiting, then real vomiting and diarrhea or loose motion. These are the main symptoms. And the transmission, being a respiratory virus, it transmits from person to person contact by coughing, by sneezing, by touching the body secretions. Then it is mainly a droplet nuclear infection or an aerosol infection. It can also spread through urine and feces also. That is stool also it can spread. The prevention of spread from the beginning till today, the main three things we all have to adhere to or we have to follow are: one, wash the hands with soap and water, because soap will kill this virus. Then cover the mouth and nose by a mask. Mask will have a byway, will prevent the virus entering your body also. It will prevent the virus, if you are infected, to go to another patient's patient also. So both ways, the mask is very, very important. Third is social distancing. At least keep a distance of 1 to 2 meters so that even if somebody coughs, it will not come to you because the virus will settle down to the floor. So it will not reach your body. And avoid shaking hands, kissing, hugging, all these our practices which we had been continuing since many long to show our intimacy. It has to be controlled for the time being. Then the supportive measures has also to be adopted. That is your personal hygiene. Take a proper bath, wash your body, your mouth gargle, especially with the gargles like betadine, because betadine contains iodine. It will kill both bacteria, virus, fungi, all things will be, so not the ordinary mouthwash, at least something which contains iodine, it will be helpful. Then exercise, at least 30 minutes brisk walk, even if you don't want to run or jog or something, at least brisk walking will be good. At least even if you are inside a room or quarantined or something, still you can go on moving around in that small space even. And avoid, and then what you have to use a balanced diet which will have less salt, less sugar, avoid sodas and soft drinks. Instead of that, you take a lot of fresh fruits and vegetables. Then, if you are not taking enough adequate vitamin D, vitamin C, and especially the mineral zinc, you can use supplementary tablets, multivitamin tablets with the minerals to keep you fit and healthy. The diagnosis are, there are two tests mainly. Some are antibody test. It is to detect a past infection because you know that this virus is an antigen. It is a foreign protein. It's an RNA virus. It goes to your body, and then when it enters the body produces a immunity system which will produce the antibody. So if you had already an infection, there will be an antibody in your blood. So you can check your antibody and you can find out there was a past infection. The other one is a viral test which will show there is a present infection. There is a nasal or throat swab which is taken and you can find out that you are infected or not. The incubation period, that is a period of exposure. You come into contact with a patient and how long it will take for you to get infection. That is between 5 days to 14 days. That is around 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, if you are infected, you get into contact with somebody, you get the infection. That's why the main incubation period and your quarantine period is almost 2 weeks to make sure like that. Then the recovery period, if it is a mild case, you will get recovery within 2 weeks. It is like influenza only. Within 1 week, we get the recovery like that. And symptoms will go away like that. This COVID also, within 2 weeks, you will be okay. But if you have any severe infection or critical illness, it may take from 3 to 6 weeks for you to become better. Then I would like to say 2 words which are commonly used during this period. One is quarantine and one is isolation. The difference between quarantine and what is isolation. The quarantine is to stay at home if you are exposed. That's all. It is, you are not infected actually. You are just staying at home so that you have got an exposure, and so the government or the health authority will warn you, stay at home so that you have come into contact with a COVID patient. Maybe you will give infection to others. You stay at home. That's all what you are doing during the quarantine period. So as I told you, even during the quarantine period at home, you have to do exercises. You have to walk a little bit inside the rooms and other staircases or something which are available. And the word isolation means that if that is done in case you are infected, you are a positive case only, you are isolated. And usually the isolation period is for 2 weeks till the incubation period, until the infectivity becomes less like that. So most of the cases, what is the benefit of this virus, the COVID virus, is that it's a little friendly virus, to be frank. Otherwise, there would have been more deaths all over the world. There was around 2 to 4% deaths only in this case when compared to the SARS virus, which had a death of around 10%. The other respiratory viruses, usually it causes deaths of 10%. Even the Zika virus and other Ebola, it causes nearly 50% death. But this is actually, we are lucky that the number of deaths are very minimal compared to other viral infections. Then the comorbidities, I have to say, that is comorbidity means if you are having these diseases, then you are more prone for complications. That is why such patients or such people has to be very careful. If you are above the age of 65, you have to be very careful. You have to take more precautions and more care. The second one is you are having a pre-existing medical conditions like lifestyle diseases. You are a diabetic patient, you are having a very high blood pressure, or you are having heart problems. All these cases, patients, you have to be very careful, very cautious, stay at home, stay safe. That's why we are saying as much as possible, unless it is a very emergency situation, you have to stay at home. Then I have to talk a very few words, being in the Bahrain for the last 41 years and serving the Bahrain Ministry of Health and the community in social levels like that. What I have to appreciate, the role of the National Task Force for combating this coronavirus. As you are aware, it is headed by our most respected, His Royal Highness Sheikh Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Bahrain, has been doing a very wonderful job. Actually, compared to many countries, there was no panic situations created in this country. The country was very benevolent also. They had been kind enough, even for expatriates, to waive off the electricity and water bills, waive off the, and give, even for vaccinations, they are giving to everybody equally. They have no consideration whether it's a Bahraini or an expatriate or something like that. And a lot of decisions has been taken very wisely, whether when to introduce a lockdown, when to introduce a closure of the shop, when to restart prayer rooms. All these things has been taken very wisely. And there is a group actually with the infectious control team, with the Ministry of Health, with the National Health Regulatory Authority. All these teams have been working hard day and night to implement and make new rules for this country. And this is the first country. I am actually proud to say this one, because in the World Health Organization Solidarity Trial, Bahrain was the first country it participated in the Solidarity Trial. It is a trial for the research for eradicating COVID-19. So Bahrain is in the forefront actually. For many things, they are in the forefront. We are aware the Bahrain International Exhibition and Convention Center has been a dedicated center which has been allocated for testing the COVID viruses. About 7,800 people participated in trial vaccinations, including some of my friends actually on Mr. Gangan and so many of their teams from the blood donor groups and all. They had been kind enough, they supported the government of Bahrain actually for these trial practices. And now the vaccinations have been going on in the frontline workers like us, who are the medical teams and medical doctors, and who are even for non-medical people who have been exposed and working with the traffic directorate and the police and all, had been started giving the vaccine. Actually, I had both vaccines actually with the 3 weeks apart. I took the first dose, then the second dose about 4 or 5 days back like that. And we are waiting for more vaccines to arrive to the Kingdom of Bahrain so that the whole community of the Kingdom of Bahrain, the whole residents, whether it's an expatriate and a Bahrainis, all will get this vaccination so that there will be an immunity. Let us hope for the best for this vaccination also. Then our support measures, you can go and download Be Aware Bahrain app and get more information. So for messages, the Be Bahrain has been given to us, that is that we should be supportive. We should be supportive to each other. This is a period whether we need help from different people. Everybody is in a situation whether there is a help is needed. Secondly, be careful. We have to be careful. We should not be very, very casual like that. We should be taking care that whenever we go outside, wear a mask. When you touch any objects, wash your hands. When we go to a friend, don't shake your hands or don't hug him or just go very close to him. So these are the things we have to take care, and we have to be alert also. All the time we have to be alert, whether some infection can happen at any time. And we have to be very kind also. This is a period we have to share our kindness, our humanitarian activity, even your neighbor, your friends who are suffering, we have to share whatever the God has given you, whatever the blessings God has given. It is a period to care and share with others. I had a caution if you are symptomatic, if you have developed symptoms, because one of our very close friend, actually he passed away because he had been neglecting. When the symptoms came, even when he telephoned to me, I requested him, go to the hospital, take it. He was talking through the telephone and continuously coughing. And I told him that this looks to be having a COVID. He never bothered. He wanted to avoid for around 10 days like that. He went to this one. Then he went into respiratory problems. He went into the ventilator and he finally succumbed to death at BDF hospital. So that's why I'm telling you, don't neglect. When you are going, just to be bold, go inform the community, call 444, tell I have these symptoms. At least you go under quarantine, call 444. Then follow up the instructions of the medical team, avoid close contact with others also. These are the things you have to take. So some facts and myths, because there is a lot of wrong messages has been passing in the community. Whenever they say, oh, this is like that, only that disease is like that, mask, this is not needed. So these things unnecessarily create a problem, and a lot of false messages come, and then people gets dragged away with this confusion. There are people who are saying that, okay, even mouthwash will help, even steam inhalation will help. So these are all a lot of wrong messages are coming and a lot of myths are coming. So certain myths I will just talk to you. One is avoid eating raw or uncooked animal products and drinking uncooked milk or something. Always you boil, cook well all these meat products before you consume them. Then it is not transmitted at all through sewerage. Don't think that this virus will pass in the sewerage and through the sewerage it will infect you. It will never come. Second, if those who are smokers, they should try to stop smoking because they are more vulnerable. You know, this virus is a respiratory virus. It goes, you are smoking, you are reducing the strength or the immunity of your lungs like that. So you are more prone to get this virus into your body and get into more complications. And also alcohol also, you know, alcohol compromise this body immune system. So it is better not to take alcohol during this period. Then thirdly, heat does not kill this virus. Don't think that the heat will kill the virus by heat or temperature of the climate, or during the winter it will come more, or winter it will become less. Nothing is there. It has nothing to do. You should have noticed all over the world the virus is spread and virus is there in both seasons. So you have to be careful throughout the period. Then about the survival of the viruses on various surfaces. There has been a lot of study, but you know, these studies has been done only on lab conditions. It is not that you get a viral infection, very less probable through plastic bags or the containers which the food handlers are delivering to you, or through tables or something. If somebody is having sneezing or coughing on a table directly, it is okay. Maybe you touch immediately, you may get a virus. Otherwise, through long-term period, 3 days or 3 hours or 4 hours, usually you don't get an infection like that. And the most at risk are above 65 years. So those who are above 65, they should take extra precautions. They should be thinking, anytime I can get infected. So they should be more careful this one. And the maximum infectivity during this period. So if you are going near a COVID patient, the maximum infectivity is 2 days before he developed the symptoms and in the early stage of the disease. It is not that at the late stage, when he is about to recover or something, the chance of infectivity is very, very less. So these are the main things. And about the medicines or treatment, you know, there is till now no specific antiviral medicine has been found out for the treatment of COVID-19. We have been trying. This is a trial which started in the month of March and still going on. Certain medicines are supportive only, like azithromycin. This one is once a day antibiotic, which has been using in the beginning. Then we have the hydroxychloroquine. You might have noticed that the government of the USA, Mr. Donald Trump was requesting Indian government, and Indian government was not first giving, and later they gave to many countries like that, hydroxychloroquine. It is another drug which is very commonly used all over the world in the early stage. Then it is an anti-malarial drug actually. It is not actually specific for this one, which has been used many, many years. And India is one of the highest producer, being a tropical country, and malaria is very common in India. It has been used. Then steroids, especially for lung conditions, we have been using steroids, especially for bronchial asthma and difficulty, allergies and all. We have been using dexamethasone, prednisolone, hydrocortisone. These are all those drugs like that. Then we have also now started using medicines, antivirals, some antivirals which has been not specific for this virus, but which has been used to still be added with those one. And then supportive therapy. According to the complication, we support them. For example, somebody gets a viral pneumonia, we give them ventilatory support. If there is a kidney disease, we give them dialysis. So these are all supportive treatment. And the complications, as I told you, the complications can happen to many organs. Once it can come into lungs. It was first believed it was a pneumonia and it is treated like a pneumonia. But now they have found out it is developing clots inside the lungs like that. In the blood, small blood vessels in the lungs, there are small, which will make a respiratory failure. That is why now they have started antithrombotic therapy also. They have started medicines which will help the clots to dissolve. And then it can go to heart, the myocarditis. We had one patient also, one 18-year-old schoolboy who was studying in the school. He had some heart problem before, and then due to this COVID, he developed myocarditis. He was inside our Salmania for a long time, which we had been following up. And thanks to God, he recovered completely and he's okay now. And then kidney, you can go into kidney disease and then you may need dialysis and kidney failure. And septicemia. Septicemia means the virus, the viremia we call, it will spread into the blood. And as you told, the blood is circulating all over the body. So this infection can reach anywhere in the brain or any other organs in the body. So that is very, very dangerous situation. With the septicemia, you may go into septic shock. With your blood pressure, everything will come down and you may die. It is a very complicated case. So these are the main complications which have been there. And as and when the complication arise, you have to give treatment. So as I told you earlier, most of the cases, that is around 75% cases go without any complications. It will come, it will go within 2 weeks, you will be okay. But these cases, they will have the problem. They will have some complication, and such cases, if especially you are having any pre-existing disease or you are above the age of 65, you are at high risk. So this you have to be taken care, and whenever any complications happen, don't hesitate to seek medical attention. You go to a doctor, call the 444, inform this one, take the care, and especially when you have shortness of breath or some other complication, you always should take care. Now, we want to say the present scenario. This is the treatment which have been going. Now we have started the vaccination age. We have started recently the vaccination age, and now many vaccines have been in the market competing each other. You know, this is a vaccination schedule also. It is a competition. It is a very, it involves a lot of financial implications for these companies, these medical companies. Who starts selling the vaccines, they will make a lot of money. This is businesses also. It's not only that vaccines are there. That's why all over the world, many vaccination companies have been competing and somehow successfully come out their claim. And the world actually very anxiously waiting for the vaccine to come out. At least some immunity is there. They are all looking. Some are claiming very high level of body immunity like that. Even like the Pfizer vaccination has been claiming 90 to 95 immunity. Moderna also has been claiming around 90%. Then Sputnik vaccination at Russia, they have started production and they have started using it among their citizens. So a lot of vaccines have come out. So I'll just speak about a few words of vaccination, because you should know that, because everybody I know, they are hesitant to take vaccination. Even so many of my colleagues and all, they have not taken vaccination. They are waiting how Dr. Cherian will get the response of the vaccine. They are looking for the other people, how they will get this one. Anyway, I am telling, we are exposed to a risk factor. Take your vaccination, try your best so that maybe the immunity is very good. You will be at least not vulnerable to get this disease and its complications. So the vaccine is intended for an active immunity. We get immunity through two ways. One is an active immunity, which we acquire through the vaccination. The second one is a passive immunity, which we get through antibodies. Passive immunity actually we get from the herd immunity. When there is a lot of people with the COVID infection in our community, we also may acquire the virus in our body, and body being an antigen, it's a foreign protein, it will produce antibody, and naturally we get immunity through this one without vaccination. That is a passive immunity. But now we are going into the active immunity. There are different types of vaccine. I will just very shortly only. I know that I don't want to discuss much scientific details and confuse you. My intention is only just for you to know what are the vaccines available and what are these things. One is a DNA vaccination. It's a DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid vaccine. It is called Inovio. And the present vaccines which are now available is a RNA vaccine. I told you it's a ribonucleic acid. The protein of the virus is RNA, and the vaccines are, one is BioNTech Pfizer, which has come out in a large number. Then it is, but the problem with the Pfizer vaccination is maybe it may not be suitable in many countries, including India, because the storage is very, very difficult actually. It has to be stored under ultra cold storage at a temperature of -80 degrees. It is not very suitable and comfortable. And there's a lot of protocols for the storage of that vaccination also. You have to keep the vaccine in a special package. If you open the box of the vaccine, we have to close within 15-20 seconds like that. We cannot keep it open. And if you take out the vaccine also, we have to give to 5 people immediately. So like that, a lot of restrictions are there for Pfizer vaccine. The other one is a Moderna, but it is a little more better. Both are vaccines produced at USA. It has at a temperature of -20 degrees. We have Moderna vaccine also, it's already started. Moderna also is there. Then other than the RNA and the DNA vaccines, another one is viral vector vaccine. Viral vector means the virus actually is introduced into chimpanzees through an adenovirus. This COVID virus is introduced into an adenovirus in the chimpanzees, and then that is why it is called vector. There's a host is there, intermediate host is there, and it is produced by some companies. Sputnik vaccination is one such like that. And then we have another Gannalia vaccine by Sputnik and Gannalia vaccine. And it is almost like the other vaccines like Ebola, dengue, and Zika viruses like that. And the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which we are also going to introduce in India, is also a viral vector vaccine. So it is a common vaccine which is going to be more easy to be stored and all. Then we have some inactivated viruses also. That is, in the virus particle, the poison part is removed, and the part which will produce antibody only is taken out, and we give. That is a Sinovac. It is like the polio vaccine, which we have been going on giving for the last many years. So these are the main type. And in most of the vaccines, the phase 3, which are completed, are Pfizer, Moderna, Oxford, AstraZeneca, Sputnik. These are the main vaccines now it is available in the world. As per the WHO, on the 12th of November 2020, this year, they have learned that there are around 48 vaccines are in production. It's not only a small number. A lot of people are competing to bring out the vaccine, and about 168 candidate vaccines are under preclinical trial. So you can see that how many number of pharmaceutical companies, how many countries are competing to produce. Even our ICMR also in India, they are in the Pune Institute. They are almost in the successful stage of bringing out the vaccine, and our Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi, has been stating that it will be soon produced. He has been following up the vaccination schedule, and let us hope that our Indian community also will start getting the vaccine in the near future. The action of these vaccines are a primary and secondary immune response. They produce an immunity. Even after my first vaccination, I was advised by the doctors of the infectious control in the vaccination room. They told me that now, after the first vaccine, don't think you are fully immunized. you can go out and you don't get anything like that. It will be producing only minimum antibodies in your body. After the second dose only, after 3 weeks, slowly it will start producing, and maybe after 1 week only, you will be more having more antibodies in your blood. So that's what I told, that it is a primary and secondary antibody response which we get. And after that, immunity, and this immunity is called immune memory. That when your immune memory develops, then only the virus starts getting destroyed or does not enter your body. And it acts on 2 types of cells in our body called B cells and T cells. The development of the immune memory is the key to how a vaccine works. So you have to think that this immune memory, which we call due to this immunity, is the main part of the success of any vaccine. Then the USA pre-ordered. I'm telling now to show the business part of this one. How many the USA as one single country, they have how many vials of this vaccine they have pre-ordered. It will be, we will be wondering how this many numbers have been already ordered, even though they have not started this huge production. By the USA, AstraZeneca vaccine has been ordered around 300 million doses. And Moderna, Pfizer, Janssen, Novavax, Sanofi, all these have been ordered around 100 million doses. So America alone, about 800 million doses of this vaccine has been ordered. So a lot of people has been ordered, and it's a huge money actually. It's a big competition for the pharmaceutical companies to produce this vaccine in large amounts and sell to the world before the other competitor comes into this world. And the Serum Institute of India, as I told you, they are producing at Pune, they are joining with AstraZeneca, which is a pioneer in vaccine production. Our India is a pioneer in vaccine production. Actually, in the other vaccines, most of the countries are buying from India. We have a large vaccine production company, and we are very reputed for production of vaccines also. The vaccine rollout plans are like this. The rollout plans means who are the one who will get the vaccine first. For example, India gets or Bahrain gets this many number of vaccines, who will get the priority? That is the rollout scheme like that. As we are now aware, the first one is those people with high risk medical conditions. There are around 100 million people all over the world with high risk medical conditions like diabetes, high blood pressure, cardiac problems. All these patients will get the priority in all over the world. The second one is essential non-health workers, not the health workers, essential non-health workers, those who are checking the COVID patients on the roads, the traffic people, the fire department people, those people who are police officers, all these people will be getting a priority as the second one. And the third one is the adult above the years, 65 years, about that is around 53 million are there all over the world. And then the healthcare personnel, 20 million. So these 4 people will be the priority. And after that only, the general population will start getting the vaccination. The emergency use authorization, or in short form, we call it EUV. And the Pfizer BioNTech company in the UK, first they started. The first approval of vaccination was given by the UK government, and they came out saying that we are starting the vaccination program. And I am again proud to say the Kingdom of Bahrain has been the second country which has given a green flag to start the vaccination. Bahrain has beaten, not Bahrain, and Britain also has beaten the US to authorize the corona vaccine. And they say actually the US, Dr. Anthony Fauci, he told National Institute for Allergic and Infectious Diseases, he told that, okay, don't say that USA is behind UK and other countries like that. We have been more cautious. We have been want to make sure before we start the vaccination schedule, we want to make sure all its dangers, there is no other problems are there. Then only we start, not we are behind. So this vaccination is a nationalism actually. We can call it as vaccine nationalism. They want to spread this spirit of nationalism through this vaccination schedule. Then let me come now to the future of the COVID-19. The aftermaths of the COVID-19 are too many at present. If you look at this one as a social problem, even at Bahrain, I hear every day from people suffering actually. There are a lot of people who lost their jobs. There is an unemployment for some people. There will be non-payment of the salary or reduction of salary. Some people are getting 25% or 50% of the salary only. There is a shortage of basic like food and medicines. Our associations has come forward actually, like the Indian Community Relief Fund, Bahrain Kerala Samajam, the Indian Club, lot of social organizations, even including our presenter. These all organizations have come forward to support the people. They have been given rations, they have been given cooked food, they have been given food and medicines. So all these things are all very important during this period. And so the social problems has to be solved with the support of the community. We should not leave everything for the government to do these things. It is our community's social obligation to do these things. Then the psychological problems are there because we are staying at home and psychologically you are isolated, you are nobody to talk, you are nobody to share your problems. It creates a lot of problem. There is no social gatherings, no clubs, no association, no churches, no prayer, no mosque, nothing is there. And then the children are studying online, even our children. They are actually having no physical contact or social contact with their other classmates like that. Before they used to interact with the other teachers, with their students. Now sitting in front of the computer, they are learning. And that's all. They don't know how to have social mingling, social behavior, social etiquette. All these things have been a difficult situation at present. Then there's a lack of recreational facilities. Before you used to go outside, used to play football, badminton, tennis, all these activities were there, health club. So those things have been not there. Then another very worst thing is there about the human behavior, like racism. Even some of these people, even in the US and all, there have been complaints that if a Chinese man is walking around and shopping, these white people will say, oh, he's a Chinese and oh, you have the Wuhan virus. Like that, they used to criticize. Then xenophobia, that is a phobia or a hatred to the human being. So these have been developed during this period. And then people go into psychological problems like depression. A lot of people get psychological depression due to loss of work, loss of other problems, loss of activities. Then suicidal tendencies. We would have heard also so many patients, even in Kerala, they committed suicide after hearing that they have been diagnosed with COVID. They have been in certain rooms and people have committed suicide because of their depression and other problems like that. Then the financial crisis. The financial crisis is one of the important, and it may continue for some time also, because all these countries to come up, because it has not affected a single country, whether it's a developed nation or undeveloped nation or developing nation. All these countries have been affected one way or other. So all these countries will take time to cope up with the present scenario, present financial condition, and then only they will be able to face this issue. So, and health issues are there, post-COVID complications. Don't think that, okay, you got the COVID, then after the period of 14 days or 21 days or 28 days, you recover from that one, you are perfectly okay. It is not like that. You still continue. Even my friends, some people who got COVID, still they call them. Even after 3 months they got the COVID, they are calling and telling, I have joint pains, I have body pains, I always feel tired, I am exhausted, I cannot breathe, I have shortness of breath. So that's why try to not to get. Prevention is better than cure. Try not to get a COVID infection. That is more important to stress at this one. Then, as I told you, there are heart, lungs, then kidneys, other infections, and another important thing is non-availability of medicines and medical facilities. At least we are thankful to the government of the Kingdom of Bahrain if you have a file and hospital, although face-to-face consultation is not there, but we are getting the medicines or either by delivery to our houses or getting the medicines from or from all these facilities are still there. So we have to take care. Keep your health also very important. Your perfect health is very needed during this period so that you will stay healthy. So I want to conclude now because I have spoken, I think, more than what I have to speak. I have spoken, I think almost I covered most of the events of the past, present, and the future. And one thing I want to tell you, even after the vaccination or the herd community happens, we have to continue wearing mask, hand wash and sanitization, social distancing, till the efficacy of the vaccines are proved beyond doubt. So we have to wait like that. Don't think that, okay, vaccination is there or herd immunity is there or the number of cases have come down drastically. Now in Bahrain also, we have less than 200 cases per day. It has come down very drastically. And everywhere it is coming down unless we are fortunate. We have to thank God if you don't get any second wave or third wave where some European countries got such attacks after coming to very low level. Again, second attacks came like that. So let us hope. So, but take care during all this period with all these precautionary measures. And be kind and supportive. As I told you, I want to emphasize this thing very much. There are people suffering. What type of suffering? You share your food, you share your money, you want to have some support, whatever they need. You want to give a ticket to somebody who would like to go back home. He has no support like that. So all these things, because all this had been being done by various social associations in the Kingdom of Bahrain. And that has been a very, very kindness. So many people could reach their home back because of the kindness of these associations and community support. So let us hope and pray that this pandemic will soon come to an end, and let us be optimistic. Let me conclude by quoting Mr. Tedros Adhanom, the head of the World Health Organization's 2 sentences. He recently commented about 2 sentences. One, he told that the rich nations should not stoop down or stamp down the poor nations on the competition for vaccinations, because the rich nations can produce a lot of vaccinations and distribute and make a lot of money, and the poor nations are also competing and they are spending a lot of money to produce a vaccine. So give an opportunity equally to every country, and the World Health Organization has been continuously requesting all the countries to distribute the vaccine in a very careful manner so that all the vaccine producers will get a chance to distribute. Then the second thing what he added is that the world can, he was saying an optimistic statement actually at the end, the whole world can now start dreaming of an end to this COVID era. So the COVID is going to stop. Let us hope with the vaccination, with the herd immunity, with the precautions we have been taking, with all the care we have been taking. Even we know in Bahrain also so many of the COVID centers has been closed down now because the number of patients have come down drastically down. When the Sitra COVID center, even the Sitra ICU, all these things have been slowly closing down actually because the number of patients have been very less and the complications and the deaths have also been less because our knowledge is now better. To be frank, we have a better knowledge of the way how the disease is spread, better knowledge of how to prevent this disease, and a lot of trials have been going on about the vaccinations. A lot of vaccine has been successfully come out. So let us hope that so all the countries all over the world, let us pray that they will come out of this COVID and we will go back to our old life, which was we were living very happily and comfortable. Now the floor, let me for question and answers. Whatever I can answer within my limited knowledge, I can answer. But otherwise, we will come back to you with answers. Thank you very much. And once again, I thank this group for organizing, and especially my very dear friend, Mr. Saeed Ali, who has been always supportive of me, and we had been working together in Cancer Care Group and other associations in the Indian Community Relief Fund, in the coordination committee of Indian associations. All these things we had been working, and we had been sharing these activities. I have noted that a lot of my friends, Madam Papia Guha, senior members, Mr. John Ipe, and Mr. Pillai, SM Pillai, Mr. Gangan, so many people have joined this seminar also. Thank you very much. And once again, I thank the organizers and also for our Vaishnavi, who has been our who introduced me to this gathering. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Cherian. Very nice talk.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Dr. Asha. You are
In the middle of patients, I'm on duty.
Yeah, in spite of your AstraZeneca, this one and your Aster Clinic and everything like that, you can join us. Thank you very much. And you have been always supportive of us also. I know that. You have been always supporting all our kind of activities. Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you, doctor. Very helpful and very useful information.
Thank you, Mr. SM Pillai. Thank you very much.
But I have one question. It was declared pandemic in March. Why the WHO didn't take any initiative for producing the vaccine in February, March? It started only now. It was
Anyway,
last year, December, and declared pandemic in March, but there was no initiative on the side of WHO to produce vaccine.
There's actually, Mr. Pillai, there is some controversy about the production of vaccine and the activities of WHO. Some people, you know that even the USA withdrew from the WHO team and this and all. We don't know really. We are not interested in these activities. But one thing I would like to tell you, even to produce and bring out this vaccine in December, it is actually very premature. To be frank, even these vaccines, we don't know how much it is efficacy. We don't know any long-standing side effects, where afterwards you will get a side effect. We don't know. We have taken any vaccine in the world. It takes minimum 5 to 10 years to bring out. Even now with the AIDS vaccination, autoimmune deficiency disease, any vaccine has come out? No, it started in the 1980s. Till now, no vaccination is there. So this is actually, they have been doing to bring out a vaccine within these 8 months. It is actually a dream only, to be frank. And we don't know. I took the vaccine in the belief that, okay, anyway, there is a COVID in the air. If I get a COVID disease, it is more worse. Okay, if I get COVID and I get a immunity, it is well and good. So this is the thing only now we can say. Long-term disease, you might have noticed, even the pharmaceutical companies bring out a lot of medicines. After 10 years, they will say, no, that medicine is carcinogenic, it produces cancer. But these long-term problems we can know only later. But this is a need of the hour. To produce a vaccine and to produce immunity is the need of the hour. And those companies and those countries which are starting, we have to appreciate them, we have to support them, and we have to give all kinds of support for their distribution to the community.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, doctor. Good evening, doctor.
Dr. Cherian, I am N.K. Matthew here.
Yes, sir. Mr. N.K. Matthew, thank you for joining. I think you came out of the office early and you joined us. And Mr. N.K. Matthew also has been a social worker and doing a lot of good job. Thank you, Mr. N.K. Matthew, for joining us.
Thank you, doctor. It was a very, very informative session. I think we could have been attend. This session was very informative. We are really proud of you, and the information was very clear and it was very successful. And it's a good message for our community. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Good evening, doctor.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, my name is Adam Ibrahim. I'm speaking from Qatar. I'm also a member of the Lights of Kindness. Thank you very much for this very, very informative session. And we remain grateful to you, and we hope you will be available for us another time. Actually, doctor, my question is regarding the vaccines. Now you just gave us certain information that the time taken to produce this vaccine appears premature, and at the same time, my concern is regarding some professionals, which I cannot define whether they're actually doctors or medical practitioners, that have been bandying around some stories about the content of the vaccine, that regarding some malign issues regarding the vaccine, that they will contain some things that will try to monitor human whatever. What is your position or understanding of this type of conspiracy theories, doctor?
No, that's what I told. Even now, you know, so many vaccines are there. For example, polio is there, MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccines are there. A lot of vaccines which we have been using very safely for many years. But there has been a propaganda, even in certain parts of even our state, Kerala state, people have been propagating, don't use that vaccine, don't go for vaccination. And even the government has been forcing. But there is always some malicious propaganda. There are people for and against these things. But I will say one thing, even the period of the production of these vaccines are short, but there has been stringent measures to make sure that the vaccine is safe. It is not a unsafe vaccine which will produce a complication. I took both the doses, only like the other vaccines, I had a little bit of body ache and little bit feeling feverish or something. Other till today, I am okay. So I am telling that if you COVID, okay, you think the other way, you get a COVID virus, you get an infection, and you go into a complication. You go into a respiratory failure, you go into a ventilator, you know your future. If you come out of the ventilator, thank God. If you are not coming, it is another problem. So take a vaccination. The risk of taking a vaccination is 1,000 times better than not taking a vaccination. I am telling that these companies, you know, the American FDA and all, they are very stringent, especially the Pfizer and Moderna and all, they are taking very stringent measures to produce this vaccine. And even in China also, they have been given the vaccines for many years. Immediately they found out the COVID in December. The last many months they have been going on given to their citizens, but they an undertaking for the Chinese. You know, the government, nobody can talk outside. They have been taking undertaking, okay, you sign here. If any complication comes, I am responsible. Number two, I am going to give publicity that I took the vaccine from the Chinese government. So these are all going on like that. You don't have to worry like that because all governments are concerned about the well-being of their citizens. So we don't have to worry, okay, what will happen and this thing and all. If you feel confident and you feel it is more beneficial for take the vaccine, it is always well and good. Now, anyway, we are the one, health professionals and non-health professionals, the frontline workers who will be in the forefront and taking this vaccine. And we are all volunteered and we are taking without being afraid what will happen tomorrow like that. So our life is one time only. We don't, so many things can happen in our life. So don't be so much pessimistic like that. Okay, think it's, this will happen, that will happen. Be strong, believe them and take it and let us see what will happen like that. And meanwhile, improvements may come and a long time complication comes. It is up to God or something, or they will improve upon the present vaccine. So I feel that the present vaccines which we have been using in USA or India or Britain or all these countries will be safe only. We don't have to be very panic situation. Let us hope everything. When the pandemic comes, how we will be interacting. We will be scared. We have been all depressed. We have been thinking what will happen. But now the situation has been improved. Now we know we are living with the COVID. We know COVID is our friend now. We are putting a hand on the COVID's shoulder and we are walking around. So we are not scared like before. So like that also, stage of vaccination, people may be scared, but we have to come. Even the leadership of this country has come forward to take the vaccination trials. There have been otherwise 7,800 people have participated in the trials, and that is the given confidence and faith in the other people. So let us hope things will be okay.
Good evening, Dr. Cherian.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you so much for your all informative sessions. Okay, I'm just talking you are the place where you are the since 2004 BIC Bahrain International Circuit. Okay, and really grant to all informations. There are some people talking here regarding the patient who got already positive COVID. Okay, can we go ahead for the vaccination, Dr. Cherian?
For the such patients, there is no hurry, to be frank, because already they would have developed an antibody in their system. But one thing I will tell you that at present also not COVID positive patients they are looking actually. They are actually giving to those people who are above 65, who are frontline workers and this thing. And these are already a COVID positive cases. There is no need to hurry for the vaccination, to be frank. Already an antibody has been developed. And thank you, Dr. Muhammad, for talking and attending this session. Actually, you had been with me for the Formula One session from 2004 and all these throughout the years. And we have to thank the country also for taking up this Formula One again during the season in the month of November, and the second formula, the Rolex Formula One, this week also. Tomorrow is our 6th is the final formula. Tomorrow is our final formula, Rolex Formula also. So wish you all the best anyway. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Doctor. And behalf of all the BIC team, they were all missing you here, Dr. Cherian. And we hope to see you soon. Because of the all pandemic situation, there are limited places there, and there is criteria for the age also. Okay, and we really miss you here, Dr. Cherian. All the best, and thank you so much for inviting, and it was very informative. Okay, and thank you so much, Dr. Cherian. Carry on.
Welcome. Welcome.
Good evening, Doctor. Doctor.
Mr. John, good evening.
Excellent presentation, Doctor. First of all, thank you for this excellent presentation. One. Number two, as you said, we have to definitely appreciate the Bahrain government, the way they have taken this epidemic in control. That is the second appreciation from me. I have a question to you. As you said earlier, you said you have taken a dose of the new medicine. And the second dose also you have taken about 4 days ago. What do you think about it? You had any reaction or you have any problem with it? Can you explain that to us, please?
Thank you, Mr. John. For the audience, I would like to introduce him. He was one of the community with a dedicated service for the community for many years. He had been the chairman of the Indian Community Relief Fund. Now he is a big businessman doing big business in India, actually. So we really miss him, and thank you for being with us at Bahrain for a short period, and we really appreciate. Regarding your question, I would like to answer like this. You know, any vaccination, if the body, any vaccination is either a live attenuated vaccine. That is, the vaccine, the virus is live, but you remove the toxins of the virus and you give this one. The other one is a dead virus. You kill the virus and then you give this one. Then the third one, you introduce this virus into some other host and you give it. So these are the type, but the present virus, what the vaccine we are taking is actually an RNA vaccine, which is without much complications like that. So any vaccine, it is an antigen, it's a foreign protein which is coming into your body, and it will produce an antibody reaction, antigen, antibody. So antibody is produced so that antibodies protect you from the infection. This is the principle of this vaccination. So what will happen? You are taking any vaccine, that antibody production means it will give some mild reaction to your body. It will give a little bit of fever. It will give a little muscle pain. It will give a body ache. Those things were there. So that is a normal thing. If that does not come, means the vaccine is ineffective. So you should get these things. But the main issue is that you don't go into a long-term complication. You get other complications like that. But that does not happen because there's a good monitoring. As you correctly pointed out about the government of the Kingdom of Bahrain. They have been doing in a systematic way. You should go. One day you have time, you should go to the Bahrain International Center and see how much well organized they have kept the COVID center for vaccination. There is a way you get a watchman who is a security standing there. They take you to the reception desk. Then the reception desk take your details, take to your doctor. Doctor completely check your vital signs, take a long history, ask whether you are fit for the vaccination. Then after that, you are sent for blood test, your liver function, your kidney function, all blood tests are taken. After that, because tomorrow you should not claim, oh, my liver was very good, my kidney was very good, and the vaccine created all these things. That's why they are taking all this investigation. Then you go to the vaccination room, you get the vaccination, then you go to another room, you take a rest for 30 minutes, then you feel okay, then you are sent. The next day, you get starting call, how do you feel, doctor, like that. So these are the way, very systematically they are doing. It's not that just give vaccination and forget like that. And 49 days, even now also I am under observation period. I am not allowed to travel outside this country. After 49 days, I have to be here in this country. That's why the second dose after 21 days, then another 4 weeks. Total 49 days only I can travel. By the time they will make sure that I am everything, and anytime I get any complication, I can call 444 or any of the infectious control doctors, and they will take care of you. So we don't have to worry or something about the vaccination. If you are confident, you feel you are comfortable, you take it. It is good for you, good for your family, and it is almost any production is not just to produce like that. You can be safe like that. Thank you, Mr. John Ipe.
Doctor, I think the time is running out now. I would like to call Mr. Muhammad Aikan to propose the vote of thanks.
Respected Dr. Cherian and my kind brothers, other respected doctors. Well, I'm not in a position to come to the video because, it's like little dark. I'm outside. Dr. Cherian, the information which you have given was marvelous because, I would love to tell you that this is an information which I really wanted to pass on to my people. Actually, I come from Lakshadweep. So in Lakshadweep, we don't have a single case so far. We don't have a single person with COVID because from Kerala itself, we are stopping people, we are checking and we are doing everything. So I was looking for a right information, somebody who can give me a really good information regarding the vaccine, the past, the present, how it is produced and all these things. And really, I'm thankful to each and every word which you have said. It was outstanding, sir, with all heart, due respect. And I would like to thank each and every person who has participated in this kind of a webinar, online virtual session, all the doctors, all the other participants, my students as well. And very, very kind, gratitude and thanks to the Lights of Kindness, Syed sir and his team who were able to bring Dr. Cherian, such a personality, to conduct such an informative class. So on behalf of Lights of Kindness, Muhammad Aikan, me, and the entire team would like to thank Dr. Cherian sir and other people. Wish you all the best. Stay safe. Stay safe. Stay safe. That's what I would say. And be protective. All the best, sir. May God bless you all. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Aikan. And Doctor, before we wind up, I would like to read out the names, those attended here, those shared their valuable time with us. So I'm going to read out their names as appreciation. First of all, I would like to thank Dr. Cherian and introduction speech by Ms. Vaishnavi Menon. Vote of thanks by Mr. Muhammad Aikan and the other participants, Adam Ibrahim, Abdullah, Afsal, Ansari Banu, Arti, Asha, David Abraham, Dr. Muhammad Salim, Gangan, Gaudencia, John, Aisha, Mr. John Ipe, Kaya, Khairun Nisa, Mercy, Muhammad Irshad, Amina Suleha, Dr. Sashidharan, Nawaz, Muhammad Yusuf, Papia Guha, Redmi, Aisha Nihara, Shaimin, Shamir, SM Pillai, Stali, Titi John, Tajuddin Mustafa, Tina, Umras, Khalid Nasser, Amarjit Kaur, Sandhu, I think Dr. Sandhu, Rajan, Sunil, Binish, and Sulaiman, Jenny Khitani, Khurshid Ahmad, Kurian Matthew, Safi, Patrick, Sana Sheikh, Amrin Khan, Anis Babu, Bashira Beham, Abdul Alim, Sabnam, Devraj KG, Nikki Alden, Riyas Ahmad, Fazlur Rahman, Naushad, Iqbal Fida, Ali Akbar, Josie, NK Matthew, Florin Mathai, I think, Molly and Nikita. And there are some others with their mobile names. We don't know the exact name. So once again, on behalf of Lights of Kindness, we would like to thank for them their valuable presentation here. And now Dr. Cherian can conclude the session. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Dr. Cherian, before you conclude, I have one more words to tell you.
Yeah, please.
Dr. Cherian, since you have a good influence, sorry, are you with me?
Yeah, I'm hearing. Yeah.
No, because, you know, as you said, I just recently came from India to Bahrain, and I was really amazed the preparations the Bahrain government has done for testing this virus. I just came in, I went into the airport very smoothly. All the tests has been done in a very nice manner. After 10 days, I had been to the exhibition center. Excellent, arrangement, drive-in. The second test is over, and the result has come within less than 16 hours. Such a wonderful effort the government has taken. Since you are very much involved in the health ministry, our appreciation as an Indian, please give our appreciation to the Bahrain governments for their excellent performance for the well-being for expats and all the rest of the people. Thank you very much once again for your excellent presentation. Thank you, Sai.
Okay, thank you, Mr. John. I fully endorse your views. Actually, the way the Bahrain government acted from day one till today, we have no words, just full of appreciation only. They had been very kind. Even for me, till this recent period, I had undergone around 8 times or 9 times the nasal swab testing and this thing, and the result has been coming automatically. We have the be aware what up in our this one, just to press it, and within the next day the report is ready. Things have been there, and even the care also, because I had been helping a lot of people in the Sitra center, where there's a COVID center was there with the tents and all, and whatever is there, when we send a message even to the head of the National Health Regulatory Authority, to the infectious control head, to the BDF officers who had been doing there, they give immediate information. They immediately send the whole details of that patient like that. And when we had been requesting them, for somebody want a better facility to stay in a hotel, we had been requesting, they had been transferring them. Even some of the one major jewelry group from India, they are around 12 of their people suffered, their staff suffered from COVID. And I have been helpful to them to transfer them to various hotels and BDF hospital. So all these things have been very much, we cannot even dream that these things can happen very systematically. And we have to appreciate the present Prime Minister actually, and the Crown Prince, who is the head of the National Task Force for COVID prevention. He is doing a wonderful job. Everything decision without creating panic, they are bringing in decisions. They will not make a panic situation, close all the roads, close all this. Nothing is happening. Very systematically they do one by one, slowly, okay, close the hotel. Then slowly, outdoor hotel, you can come and eat. Then, okay, indoor, keep space and eat. So all these things have been systematic. Even prayers also. When the mosques were closed, then slowly they started, okay, keep distancing, keep all the protocols for the COVID, you pray. So all these things have been a wonderful experience at Bahrain. That's why even I feel that your Bahrain is a safe haven for all of us like that. We had been fortunate to stay at Bahrain without getting an infection. And even the number of deaths has been very minimal. Maximum care they have given. They have given any complications, these patients go, unless it is a negligence of the patient only, they go very late or they don't seek medical attention earlier. That's why I'm again and again stressing, you have a symptom, go to the doctor. Don't delay yourself like that. So these are the main things we have to pass on. Don't be shy or don't be think, oh, I have to go to quarantine, I have to care, I have to be isolated. Your main care is your life only. These are the main things I would like to take. And before I conclude, let me congratulate the Lights of Kindness team for organizing this one. And again, my friend, Mr. Saeed Hanif Ali and Vaishnavi Menon also for being in this session. And Dr. Sandhu, Dr. Florin Matthias, and even my daughter, Nikita, Dr. Nikita Ancharian, she attended from Trivandrum actually this session. So I am happy that some of my colleagues from various other parts of the world, even like from Lakshadweep and from Qatar, all these people attended. This is a very good thing. Actually, you learn things, you hear things, and you make it practical. It may save your life and your family's life. So that is more important of these awareness sessions. Why we are conducting these sessions? I think this is the 8th or 9th session I am conducting through various organizations. ICRF I conducted, so another organizations I conducted, some TV shows I did. So all these things will impart. My main interest is to impart some knowledge, whatever I have during this period, and let us hope we will have all a safe period during this COVID season. We will be all safe under the protection, under the wings of God, and let us hope we will bypass this session. We will come and we will have our social gatherings and good life and come back to our normal life in the near future. As our WHO president told, let us hope for the best. Thank you once again.